All right, I'm calling the meeting to order. Our first item of business as usual is approving the minutes of the April 22nd meeting. I've distributed them out to you folks. Did you all have a chance to read them over? If not, whatever, let me know if you have any corrections, changes, additions, subtractions. Are there any changes to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Diane, and then Dan will second. All those in favor, is there any more discussion? I gather not. Is there all in favor of approving the minutes as presented? Please either raise your hand or say aye.
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 All right. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion's carried. Okay, the next order of business is to review the application number 4 for payment. Again, I apologize for the communications snafu that didn't get it out to you in advance. What you have in front of you, or what I sent out this morning, is the 5-page summary. As we said in the past, the actual document's 195 pages because it covers every contractor, every subcontractor in the deal. And the amount that we're prepared to certify for the work done in April is $1,616,040. David or George, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, it's pretty straightforward. We have Capasa with the concrete, Schenectady steel. They've pretty much fabricated everything. Unit D, building D for the gymnasium. Actually, that's in the shop right now. And then they actually started, obviously erecting on site. And then like the Lockheed, that's just shop drawings and bonds and those kind of things. Fire rated, that's pretty much shop drawings and some of the they did some testing out in the street as far as the pressure tests. Ferguson Mechanicals, they've started working, underground, the underground sanitary and storm, and the coordination process with the modeling. That's 90, I would say like 95-98% complete. That went pretty good. So that's both HVAC and plumbing. Electrical, you can kind of see they were did some conduit for the primary feeders. And then the communications, that's pretty much bond and submittals with Shea, and then the site work is all the stuff on site, the storm sewer and some slab work and the soil nailing and all of that. So that's pretty much what we built for this month.
George, a question I had was, you said that Schenectady Steel is going to start constructing or fabricating the steel for the gymnasium, the assembly wing, even though it won't be put in for over a year. But I gather they're doing it to avoid getting caught into this high increase in prices on steel. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, I think that was one of the benefits of doing all the pre-detailing and all of that, because with all that pre-detailing, just right after bid, they were able to secure all that steel, and got the steel and right before the price increases and all that. And then, as you said, fabricating, and they have the ability to store it for a while. So we were able to avoid that with the structural steel. So that's
okay.
Good. Yeah.
And they'll store it at their place.
Correct.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions from the committee? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve payment application and certificate for payment number 4 as presented to this committee in the amount of $1,616,089.40. Do I have a second? Dan seconds. Is there any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, please either raise your hand or say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion is carried. Thank you. The next item of business is to discuss the progress report, which was sent out to you again this morning. Again, I apologize for the lateness of getting out. I did tell everybody to, if you had a chance to look at it, to look at the summary data, which is always an interesting place to start. And then I looked at some of the comments and holdback items, as well as the PCOs at the end. George, David, it's up to you. It's all yours.
Yeah, I think George, just I want to just give just real high level of time and time budget and really major activities.
Yep. Yeah, they, as Kip was saying, the summary report, we're kind of on track as far as completion. A couple of the activities were a little behind, a couple a little ahead, and able to resequence some things. So, we're still tracking for, being substantially complete in April for the academic wing, and May or so for the site. For the site and all that. And then we still have, healthy, contingency. It went down, somewhat, but pretty healthy still contingency. So. Good.
George, before you leave that page, I see we use some of the allowances. What's our total allowance we started with? 250,000.
I think it was I'm gonna say like 410.
If you go to the next page, the monthly cost control report, George, you could see it next page down. If you blow that up, yeah, owner GMP allowance is 310,000 was the starting.
Okay, so we started with 310, and we're down to we've used up some, so we're at 232 right now. Okay.
Well, remember, Kip, with that those are potential. So we haven't officially approved anything. If where George's cursor is, where the zeros are, that's where an approved revision. So one that actually manifested into a change order. The column to the left there, where you see the minus 17 and the minus 40 some odd thousand, those are the potential where we believe we're going to be spending that money, and we're forecasting those costs.
Yeah, okay. This is the topsoil, storage.
Right.
So we're kind of forecasting that, and then the utility charges, they're actually costs that it's mostly the generator that we're using on site, and the fuel for that. And then also this includes that CLMP invoice. The CLMP was about 10,000 and some change. So that's captured there. So I would say after this month that would go into the approved column, at least the use of the generator and the fuel oil, and then also the CLMP or the Eversource fee. So that's what those.
And that reminds me, George, that I skipped over an item on the agenda, but I just want to report that the RTM did authorize the issuance of the easement to Eversource on Monday night at their meeting. And town council has put the documents together and will be communicating directly with Eversource. So that part of our process is done.
Yeah, and then we reached out to Eversource yesterday about the work being done, beginning of the summer. So we're in communication with them now, to start scheduling that work and all of that. So that's perfect.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt the flow. I just realized I forgot that.
Right. Yeah, like I said, we have reached out to Eversource, so we're putting all that together for this summer, doing all that work. Okay. And, any more questions on the summary or?
No.
Okay. Yeah, and then just the project summary, I kind of went through a little bit with the pay app, site work. We're continuing with the storm sewer piping and structures. Started the primary electrical feed communications duct bank. Then, part C, we finished waterproofing foundations. Then the underground storm and sanitary, that's, the underground storm sewer has been installed. We started the underground sanitary this week, actually. And then the steel is, erected. Same with part B. Started the underground sanitary and storm, and then, started erection of part B. And then part A, completed the soil mailing, and then we're doing right now footings and walls. And actually, this is kind of the part that revised a little bit. I think the original schedule kind of showed us, like a continual flow from B to A as far as erection of steel, but just the work or whatever, we had to resequence it. So after erecting in B, the crane, they'll demobilize, and then probably in another 3 weeks or so, they'll come back and start erection of A when that's ready. So that was the biggest change on the schedule. But
George, I was confused by the. I thought that part A was the ELP wing, part B is the southern portion of the school, and part C is the western portion of the school, a two-story. And I didn't understand that part A also, I guess, includes the administrative area.
Correct. Yep.
Which is all why that becomes part of the soil nails and all of the other stuff and the very deep foundation work.
That's correct. Yep. Yeah, you'll
Okay.
see if you look where the steel is completed. That's kind of where part B stops, and then part A, starts. So yeah, the ELP, that ground level, and then it goes around the corner and the admin wing, and then all the mechanicals and everything on that lower level. That's all part A.
Part A. Okay, thank you. Just clarification. Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, and then as I was saying, Sean's Lawn, they've been monitoring erosion erosion controls, completing the excavations. So I would say for the most part, the building excavations, have been completed. Then they continuing backfilling and hauling material off-site, which that's pretty close to being complete. Right now, they've started working in the backfilling and all that. The courtyard, they've actually started working in the courtyard as well. The concrete, just footings and walls in A. Probably another week or so, they'll start prepping for the slabs, the elevated slabs. Then cost, schedule, impact. Like we talked about it. The steel contractor will demobilize in part B and then remobilize in 2 or 3 weeks. However, we don't really, impact the overall schedule. We got 3 PCOs in for review: Jim Clear story, lower footings and walls, and the PA speakers. So those are currently being reviewed.
Where did the PA speakers come from, and what was that?
It was a proposal request, and I think they're adding some speakers in the lobby. I believe the main lobby added some speakers, from what I understand.
And where did that come from?
I'm not sure how that got initiated with the proposal request. Maybe Amy could. Amy has
Anybody answer that one, where that request came from? Was that a Board of Education, district, or whatever?
I've not heard anything about it, Kip.
Okay, Duke, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. If we could just at some point find out who initiated that particular, or how that got initiated, so that we have at least a thread back to who and what, why.
Yeah, I can, yeah, I'll look at it was a proposal request that was missing. And then I'll go back. I'm not sure if the proposal request itself said about it, but I can, yeah, come up with, who initiated that.
I would think it's probably somewhere in the backup of that PCO, right? I mean, we obviously received some sort of document from SLAM on that.
Oh, yeah, we received a proposal request, but I'm not sure.
Could I ask Dr. Adley to mute his microphone? Thank you.
Okay. I don't see it, but yeah, we'll follow up with that.
Okay.
Then like I said, the PCO is under review. We actually have, three that are current. And the other ones, have been reviewed and I think even approved last.
Now, David, we talked at our last meeting, the ones that had been approved by the construction subcommittee, oversight committee, because they're smaller numbers, we had 3 of them, I think, and they were going to package them together into a document for our final sign for Dr. Adley's sign off. Has that been done yet?
I think we're just waiting on, George can update this. I believe we're just waiting on the final signatures on those, and then we can wrap those up. Is that right, George?
That's correct. Yep.
Signatures from SLAM, or signature has to go to Dr. Adley, right?
From us, I believe. Yep.
Okay.
And then the one, actually, this kind of got in, after the report. I did get the proposal for the propane tank to upgrade it to, to 18,000 gallons. So.
All right, now.
This got in.
This is where there was a statement saying that this was a 3.5-year payback.
Correct. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, it was actually the submittal process where Ferguson's vendor, was like a design build. Actually, brought this up where if you went with the 18,000 gallon tank, you'd be able to use bulk pricing for the propane. And just doing a quick analysis, it showed that you'd save probably around $10,000 a year on the propane deliveries. We were figuring it's like a 3.5 year payback.
Okay.
So
Makes sense to you, Mike? Mike, do you I mean, you're going to be ordering the propane, so I want to make sure you're happy with this.
Yeah, I'm very happy with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the key right now, George, is that we really need to make sure we can get that tank there this summer, right? As we have that area of the building, the area of the site opened up.
Correct. Yeah. I think last we talked to Ferguson, they would be able to get it there like around that 1st of August, which would make it tight, but definitely doable, because we probably with the deep sanitary and all that work, we'd probably be looking wanting to get it around end of July, early August. So I mean, if that's okay, I talked to Jeff Lamont yesterday about it. He didn't have any concerns or issues. He was okay with it, as long as the owner was. So if that's okay, I can move forward and give Ferguson direction to move forward with that.
Well, is there any Does the committee want to do any more discussion about this particular item? I don't want us to run away with this. It's $40-some thousand. Okay. The whole theory was that by having a bigger tank, we could buy in bulk, save money, less deliveries, more fuel per delivery. It's got to be one big propane truck that delivers that amount. But anyway,
I guess my question would be why the sub didn't propose that initially, if it's such a kind of blindingly obvious thing to do.
good question.
They did.
Oh,
They did?
Yeah. As the sub suggested it, right? I think it wasn't specified that size, but I think the
Right.
sub suggestion.
Yeah,
Yeah, we started off, I think we're going to go to natural gas. And then when Eversource or whatever made it clear it was going to cost us $1.5 million to bring a line up the street, we said no. So we defaulted back to propane because our boilers could work on either one. I'm not sure we put the investigation in on how big a tank, but it was estimated originally, like, I forget what it was, 6,000 gallons originally, I forget.
12,000.
12,000. So we're going up by 6,000. Okay.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and then yeah, that's what the engineer specified, you know, whether they do the nuances of the deliveries and all that, that's, you know, hard to say. But then, yeah, this was brought up actually during the submittal process with the vendor from the contractor.
Okay.
I guess the only question I would have is whether there are any other issues that might arise in increasing the size of the tank in terms of impacts to the site or, again, having a larger truck deliver it that might not have been thought through, just to make sure that SLAM is kind of on board with that and that, you know, just to consider whether there are any other issues with upsizing that tank.
Yeah, Diane, this is Kemp. I had a similar thought. I don't want to say concern because it may have been addressed by the team already. I wasn't aware of this until just now. But Dave or George, has this been discussed with our MEP engineer to make sure that having that quantity on site is permittable and doesn't cause any other potential safety issues?
Yeah, I mean, they're all in the loop on this. You know, I was talking to Jeff, and like I said, he didn't have any concerns of issues. I could talk to him if you know, it sent this to CES, but they've been they've been in the loop of this whole issue. So
Okay.
you know, as far as the site logistics, yeah, it's a little bigger. We still probably you know, it looks like it'd still fit, you know, in the island. So I mean, worst case scenario, if it goes, you know, into the asphalt a little bit, you'd probably have to put, you know, like a concrete pad, I guess, over it for protection. But that would be the whole tank. But I think we can maneuver it so, you know, it's going to fit in the island, you know, the grass island. I don't think there's any kind of permitting or anything like that in as far as you know, how much you can store on site.
Kemp, is this something they could run past the fire marshal's office at all, or?
I haven't talked to fire marshal, but I mean, I think it's pretty typical, just, you know, because these vendors are the ones who suggest it as far as the size, you know. We're increasing it by what, 6,000 gallons maybe. I mean, I could run it by Bob Bush, you know, just to see, but
I think I would feel better if you just check with Bob, so we know that base has been touched.
And George, can you clarify as to where the location is? I know at one point it was kind of behind the building, and there was sort of talk about providing access to a truck to get behind the building. But is it now? You said it's on an island. Is it in the parking lot or
yes,
where?
yeah, the island, like right, you know, when you got the drive coming in, and it's like right there, you know, right right there as the parking lot starts.
Got it. Okay.
Diane, this is Amy.
Right.
It's right between where people turn off for the parent loop or go straight for the bus loop. It's in that grass area.
Okay, I just want to confirm because at an early point in the design, it had been located in a more kind of obscure location. So just wondering. Okay.
Yeah. If I could add, I think people have to realize that no matter what size tank is there, it's going to be off hours delivery because
Yeah.
it's going to block the road or the parking lot. You're going to block one or the other with the delivery truck. So no matter what size tank goes there, it's going to be like some of our oil tank deliveries. We have them come in after school hours because of where the tank's located. It's no big deal. It's just everybody should be aware of it.
Yeah, it's not. It's there.
Okay. So if you'll just check with, touch base with Bob Bush, the fire marshal, I just want to make sure that just touched. Makes good sense. Is there anything more people would like to discuss about increasing the size of the propane tank? Okay.
Right there. As you're coming down in, and then as Amy's saying, it's right there.
And just to clarify also, George, the only thing that has a concrete cap, I believe, is where the fill pipe and any vents need to go.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you. Anything else, George, on the report?
No. Like I said, we have the schedule that we talked about, and then the
Now that Amy's on, do we want her to chime in on the proposal request for the PA speakers? Or any background info on that?
I don't know that I have any, Nick. I'd have to review what was proposed. I know that Jeff was doing it in reaction to a previous project and worked with our consultant on it.
Okay.
But I'm not,
Thanks. I
I'm
was
not
just wondering
prepared
where
to
the
discuss that.
origination was from, so.
Yes, I think that it was something that came up on a previous project, and so he initiated the discussion with our technology consultant.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then there's just some pictures. That's the beginning of the soil nailing. And then it shows the start of the steel erection. Let's see. And that's actually the footing kind of in between C and A, one of the footings, rebar. That kind of gets a good shot of the soil nailing in the footing.
That's massive.
It is. It's incredible.
Jeez. Well, Luke, I hope the school stays still.
So fun fact, I learned that the engineers took me out one day and they put these reflective red markers on the exterior of the building. And the gentleman spoke to me, they said there's going to be some drilling, and I always like to inform our students on this and our faculty and staff on this top building. And the red markers, I was informed, are the way that the engineers can make sure that the building stays stable, that we're not falling into this ditch. So that was really helpful and good to share with faculty and staff to those questions as I saw the dig coming. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been great.
That's got to add a lot of cost to the project. Jeez.
Hey, Kip,
Yeah.
I have a general question before we move on the agenda. We're reading about skyrocketing building materials costs.
Right.
And I know we have bids that have, I guess, fixed pricing in there, but the pressure that those prices would put on the subs, both respect to the pricing that they're facing, the costs that they're facing, as well as any potential delays in delivery of those materials? How do we think about any impact on our project from that circumstance?
Excellent question.
So I can, this is Dave, I can just touch on that just at a higher level. And we've already known about some of the items, right? Like the metal studs, that contractor chose to take the road of saying, listen, I want to buy it and secure the materials right now. I just have to work out a storage facility that's being worked out. Globally on the project, we're working to, we always get updates from each of the trades as frequently as we can of all the materials, what their lead time is, when was it released into production, and when is the expected delivery date for those materials, to keep the trades engaged with that and making sure that they're following up with their subs. And Brian Kelly, our field engineer, is getting those updates on a regular basis. So we're, especially these days, those discussions are really on the forefront as far as making sure that we're in contact with the trades and being aware of any issues. I know there are a couple of specific ones, George, right? I know there's one with mineral wool that we're looking at, possibly maybe one of the other manufacturers as an alternate.
More equal, yeah. We just learned, mineral wool, and then you know, as mentioned earlier, the steel studs. I think there was a huge price increase, or it's going to be one around the 1st of June, but with Kip's help and everything, able to secure a storage place so he could, order them and get them, delivered by then and avoid that. So, like Dave said, we're just monitoring it very closely and working on it a case by case. The submittal process is going very well, so it's not holding up anything. And like Dave said, now it's just a matter of just monitoring it and putting pressure on the guys that things have changed in the last year or so, where you got to put your order in now if you're going to try to get it on site on time and with what you locked in.
I will say that Dan's question is a real good question, because I think that maybe Rusty was involved with a project many years ago where the price of sheet metal went up so high that the subcontractor said, listen, I can't do the project, that I'll just go bankrupt. I can't do it. And that's really one of the concerns that we all have. I know that you've got everybody, bid in, all that stuff, but we got to make sure that these guys either buy their stuff in advance or have bought it or have committed to it, so that they don't get caught in this incredible current price spiral upward. I mean, I heard lumber's up like 4 times, 400%. I could be right or wrong, or it's in that ballpark. And steel, I know, is the guy who has got the steel studs. I forget what the name of the company was, but I worked on a short-term lease for him. He hasn't signed it yet to store his stuff. He wanted to buy it right now, even though he won't be using it until June, July. He was really concerned about that, the increase.
Dave, aren't there provisions in the contract that speak to this, though, to some extent?
There are. I mean, it's that threshold, right? I mean, the trades are truly responsible. I know, early on we had a request from the concrete contractor because they had seen some increases in rebar, but we've really, the trades are responsible for those material escalation costs. Where it would become an issue is if there was something that was due to the pandemic, or that was really just completely out of the realm of control. But to date, I think we started the job at the right time, where we're in a far better position than some of the jobs that we're starting right now and trying to bring trades on board. So this is where we're trying to be more proactive with the trades to say, have you called your suppliers lately? Because unfortunately, what we're finding sometimes is we get the updates on procurement, and then 3 or 4 weeks later, we ask them, and they finally go to their vendors, and then they find out that there's a problem. So we are trying to stay on top of these people on a weekly or every other week basis. But I think, George, anything window-wise, are we still okay with that from Lockheed's perspective?
Yeah, we met with them Tuesday. You know, as far as the windows, he's saying, you know, like the frames, the clear stories, and the storefronts, you know, pretty much stock items. He's saying they're probably like 5 to 6 weeks out. He's saying the windows themselves, which is actually the way these windows are, you know, you have the opening, so you frame the opening with a clear story or a storefront, and then you take the window unit itself and slide it into that, you know, that frame, if you will. Those windows, he's saying about 16 weeks, but you know, that's not going to affect, you know, us doing masonry openings or any of that. You know, the frame material is about 5 to 6 weeks out. Now that was, you know, as of Tuesday. But like Dave said, this stuff is changing every day, and it's not so much price increases; it's even availability. Where yeah, he might, you know, call EFCO and say, you know, here I want the material, you know, release it, and then EFCO might, you know, change from 5 to 6 to, you know, 10 to 12. You know, so it's almost like a day-to-day type of thing. You know? And
I understand that it's a trade issue, but if
right.
the trade can't A, get the product, or B, the price is so high that he chooses not to get the product, then it becomes our issue.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So, and I know there are protections against all that, but I think it would be helpful to kind of have a regular, maybe add this to the agenda to make sure that we're staying ahead and staying current kind of as we go on with what's happening with the trades with these materials.
Dan, this is Rusty. Just for clarity, in our agreement, there is a clause that if the cost of materials, not labor, materials increases, I believe it's 20%, then Ashforth has, APO&G has the right to come back and look for additional funds for that. It works both ways. If there is material that decreases in price more than that, and I believe it's 20%, but I'm not certain, we have the right to go back and get the benefit of that decrease. So you're correct. It can hit our budget with some of these increases that we're talking about, like wood, which is at about 300% increase right now.
That's helpful. Thank you, Rusty.
Yep.
I agree. Put it on the agenda. Let's keep watching it during this period.
You know, what we could do too is in the project commentary section of our monthly report, we could add a section in there that just says, you know, material procurement issues, and that way we can highlight some of those, and we can, when we get to this part of the meeting, Dan, we could just hit on any of those items.
Yeah, that'd be great, because that's kind of where it belongs, right? It belongs in that part of the agenda. Yeah. Assuming Kip's okay with it.
George, for the next report on that project commentary, or maybe even put it on the cost and schedule impact narrative there. Just add a subheader for procurement.
Yep.
Right.
Good idea.
And honestly, on that front too, I don't think we have a specific item. I think it's interwoven into our OAC meeting minutes, Nick. But you know, we could also have a separate item there where we're sure that good, bad, or indifferent each, you know, every other week when we have our OAC, we do make sure we have a point of discussion about any procurement items.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yep, I agree 100%. Thanks, Dan, for bringing it up. All right. Any other questions about the progress report? Okay, then our next item of business is, I call it a groundbreaking ceremony. I'm going to turn this over to Duke. Are you there, Duke?
Hey, Kip, thank you. I'm not sure if Katie's on board. I think she might have a few more additional details also. It looks like for the people I reached out to in terms of the board, First Selectman's office, Terry Wood, people that I think should be notified of it. It looks like May 22nd, which is fast approaching, at around 10 a.m. in the morning, is kind of where this headed in terms of most people being available. Katie, do you have any additional update?
No, that's the basics. I just wanted to say thanks to Dave and his team and Seth for helping us with this. I know that they're working on some of the logistics from their end. Well, actually really doing almost all the work in terms of setup and that kind of stuff. So it's really just up to us to, kind of figure out our numbers and promote to the stakeholders. And then, we'll work on some positive press and publicity after the fact.
So should we hold off on, I was going to send a note to my Board of Finance colleagues, but should we hold off until we know what our numbers look like before just inviting people?
Katie, so it's a good question. I mean, I can confirm today numbers. I've got everyone's availability on the folks I reached out to, and then we can confirm from a Oxbridge committee standpoint. Did we determine what the numbers are we want to have up there that we feel comfortable with?
So I would actually say that, Kip, we would probably look to you for guidance on that from the town's perspective as far as what they were comfortable with.
I have no idea.
Yeah, so Kip, I'll take that. I've got a call this afternoon with the town, and I'll bring it up and see if there's any issue with the fact that it's outside. I'm sure we can spread it out and accommodate. I mean, we've got everything up and running at the high school and the other elementary schools in terms of outside events. We even had a concert this week in the courtyard. So, Katie, let's offline kind of put our two numbers together as to how many people we have coming, and then I'll just touch base with the see if there's any issues or concerns.
That sounds great. The one other thing I'll say is just that from a student perspective, since it's always nice to have children, since we're building this for them, Luke and I had discussed about inviting our 5th graders this year to attend. So, do following feedback, we can see if we can expand that. But that was one way that we thought to get some little bodies there in a controlled fashion.
Great. And if you could just give me, Luke, or just a guesstimate as to the number there I think might attend. I know the enrollment numbers, but that would help. I've got a call at 2 this afternoon that I'll touch base with on this.
And Katie and Duke, I'm just checking to see if Seth is here in our headquarters today, but I do want to maybe get on the conversation with you and loop him into, because I do just want to make sure with that tight time frame that of exactly what the deliverables are, that is it a shovel or what are we doing, and making sure that we actually have making sure we have everything in time. So,
sure.
So I do want to double back with both of you, make sure that the expectation is clear as to what it is that we're providing. I believe between Seth and Jim at AP, I think we're working on helping you with some of the press stuff.
Right.
But as far as physical stuff for that day, I want to make sure we're clear, and we may need to loop Slam in from a perspective of if there's any other visual materials or anything like that, for renderings or things like that. So if we can talk today, it'd be great.
We can definitely set that up. The one other piece that we've kind of talked about, because of the circumstances we've all been facing and not really having an ability to get on site for many of the building's members, Dave had offered that it might be possible that before the groundbreaking ceremony to do like a quick little tour for community members, the committee members, just so that people can kind of really see what's been done in person. So just wanted to throw that out there for you guys to kind of plan for, maybe 9:30 or something instead of 10.
Someone might want to call the Department of Public Health to get the latest update on the COVID guidelines. I found them very, very helpful, and they'll tell you any restrictions you have on number of people, whether it's inside or outside, and your spacing and all that, because you don't want to violate those rules. And I know in general, most of those rules go away at the end of May. But you may be perfectly fine on the 22nd, but a quick call up there. You could talk to a person by the name of Bree, like the cheese. She's usually on top of that stuff.
Good. And hopefully someone will get back to Dan so he can ask whether Board of Finance people can join.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there anything else to be discussed today concerning the project?
Are we looking to approve the pay app or?
To approve the which?
The application number 4.
We did, we already approved it.
Got it. Sorry about that.
I heard you say yes or voted yes. Did I misspeak?
No, I apologize.
Okay. There's being no public comment. I would take a motion for adjourn.
Oh, sorry, Kip, I just wanted to highlight, I'm not sure if this came up in our last meeting. I just wanted to let everybody know that there is another community presentation being planned for the Wednesday following the groundbreaking ceremony. So that's May 26th at 7:30.
Okay, May 26th at 7:30 p.m.
Right. We'll share that link with everyone.
Okay, great.
And Luke, I know that you're planning to meet with Scott on Tuesday. So I'm going to be down there as well. That way we could use that discussion to, I think that's a big portion of that presentation is what's, like we talked about, what are things going to look like, when everyone returns to the campus at the end of the summer. So we'll dovetail that into that presentation and develop some of those brief slides after Tuesday's meeting on site.
Sounds good.
Luke and
Yep.
Dave, loop me into that I can, that has already come up, in questions from board perspective and stuff like that. So
I'd be happy to join too, if possible.
that's a good idea, Katie. Thank you.
I can send you both the invite for Tuesday.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks.
I think it's 10 o'clock, isn't it? Scott said.
It is. Yep. I'll send you both I'll just send you both an invite. Just put it on your calendar. It's easier that way.
Kip,
Yes.
I just want to clarify. First of all, apologize for the interruption earlier. Obviously, juggling 2 Zooms doesn't work that well. So my apologies for. I just want to, I caught the end of the discussion about the OCGR document, the AIA document, the upgrades. David, just because is that residing with you at the minute or with me? We can talk about it afterwards, but I just want to be clear about that.
No, there's nothing in your court right now.
Okay,
You're all set.
Thank you.
Anything else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Katie moves.
Motion
Dan
second.
seconds.
Duke will second.
Dan got ahead of you, Duke. All in favor, please signify by saying aye, raise your hand. Thank you all very much. We'll keep you in touch and hope to see you at the groundbreaking ceremony on the 22nd. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.